Okay, people, let's have a little talk. Recently on Facebook, there's been a lot of people complaining and saying, "Oh, certain engines are better than the others, this and that." Well, in my personal opinion, actually, in everyone's opinion, they all have which engine is actually better or not. Well, it's their own personal opinion. But here's the thing. Just because, you've had a few Tecumsehs blow up or had issues with a Briggs doesn't mean they're all junk. I mean, me personally, I don't like Tecumseh, but you know what? I don't go around and say, "Oh, it's terrible," to all the Facebook groups or stuff like that. But recently, there's also been a video on YouTube that says, of a guy saying, "Oh, well, all the Tecumsehs I scrap out, I punch holes in the blocks." Well, that's just a waste of money. Because even though you don't want to put the money into fixing that old Tecumseh, somebody else could use a block. Let's say somebody blows their Tecumseh up, and it was on a tractor they were gonna restore, and they need a block. And if you punch holes in every single one of them, that guy's gonna have a real hard time finding a good used block. But because you can make money off of the blocks more than what you can scrapping them. I mean, I know some of the Kohler blocks, they can go upwards of $100, $200 for a 16 horse block. Tecumsehs usually are $75 just for the block, nothing else. So, even if an engine is so the bore is wore out, give them a little discount. But there's no reason to sit there and punch a hole in a block. But every company has their flaws. Kohlers, from what I see, they don't like being ran low on oil. They don't take the abuse like the others do. Briggs, the cast iron Briggs, their carburetors, oh man, every single one of them in this yard leaks, even a brand new one that I bought a couple years ago. I still run them. They're gas hogs. I don't care. This tractor behind me, I'll pull the front tires off the ground and it's got a piston slap and smokes. Whoopee. And I use it all the time. Well, I haven't used it much this winter because I got other tractors and this one's mainly for summertime. Yeah. Then there's also those people who brand bash. Yeah, I don't like John Deere's. There ain't even one in our yard here except for a push mower that I got in trade. Does that make me a bad person? No. Would I take one in on trade? I may, just to flop. But I ain't gonna go around and bash every John Deere group or anything like that saying that their stuff is bad and whatnot, because that, in actual And actually, thinking John Deere's produced some good, decent tractors. I just don't like them because parts are expensive. Anything green and yellow is out of my price range. Um, Same thing with wheel horse. Some people don't like them. I don't have a problem with wheel horse. The only thing I kind of worry about is the trans to frame mount plate. Uh, like there's at least 4 wheel horses in this yard that has the frame cracked on it at one time. But doesn't mean send them to the junkyard. There's another thing that I'm coming up to. You know, I see a lot of people with tractors that are, light surface rust. They say, oh, this thing's getting parted out. It's rusted out. Um, Light surface rust ain't rusted out. I have machines in this yard that are so rusty that people would part them or junk them. Does it bother me? Well, yeah, but see, the thing here is when you're junking tractors and engines and stuff like that, you're reducing their population. And sooner or later, there ain't going to be any out there to enjoy. It's one of those things. Yeah, I've junked a lot of stuff, but the stuff I've junked was junk. And I've saved a lot of tractors when I was buying tractors out of an actual junkyard. Not far from me was a junkyard slash scrapyard that I used to buy tractors out of. Sometimes 3 or 4 times a week. I must have pulled 100 or more out of there within a couple years' time. And I still have one of my own, and then Dad still has the one I bought for him. And the one that I bought for myself out of the junkyard was a 1972 Sears Suburban 15. I've replaced the transmission, replaced the engine, a bunch of other stuff. I've got over $1,000 into that son of a gun, just the tractor itself. People would say, oh, that's too much. Oh well. It's it's a hobby I enjoy. Then there's people that modify the what out of the tractors and make mud mowers and stuff like that. I don't really go for that because to me that's tearing them up. But it's what they like to do. But getting back to putting a lot of money into tractors and stuff like that. At the beginning of January, I was given a wheel horse, 701. I probably have somewhere around $300 into it now. And majority of that was parts. And I'm not even done. I'm gonna have a bunch more into it probably before I'm done. I'm trying to think, but just basically getting to the modifying now. When I got the 701 wheel horse, it was not perfect. It had holes drilled into places that shouldn't have. It still has some. which I'm going to try to fill up a few of them when I repaint it. Um, so that was a good candidate for a little customization. When the 701 wheel horses were produced, they didn't have parking brakes. So when I was on the parts run last time, I got a parking brake from a 62 and the cover. Well, I came home, modified the tractor a little bit, and it's now got a parking brake. Because around here there's hills. And, well, there's not too many in this yard, but sometimes I park on them. And I need a brake. So, that is one of the improvements. Now, Dad's one tractor that I purchased out of that scrapyard, it was a 72 Sears Custom. Well, it's actually a compact 80. We had it for a couple of years, and I replaced the trans once with another used Peerless because it had the 3-speed Peerless originally. I stuck a 4-speed cast iron Peerless in it, and that didn't last. So, a couple of years ago, I bought a 72 Custom 10XL from a neighbor. And I got to looking through everything, compared them together, and needless to say, I separated the frame in half, put the back half on Dad's compact 80, and it's now got a high-low transmission. That's one modification that I would improve, or that is approved by me. I don't know if other people would do that, but I didn't modify the tractor to, let's say, hacking it up or anything like that. I just slid another back half under it. There's people who sit there and cut all up garden tractors, and that just drives me insane. Now, there is other things that I could go into, and it would probably tick off a lot of people. But as it is, it's probably going to tick off some people. But if you're going to sit there and destroy stuff on purpose and go around and bash one brand and say it's junk, then maybe this hobby ain't for you. Maybe you should step away from it, sell your stuff, and get into something else. Because you're not helping anybody out. Now, a restoration to me, a full-on restoration to me, is get everything repainted, fixed up, left original, or, find replacement parts that are the same. Like, well, I haven't done any myself, but my SS15, which is the Suburban 15, I replaced the engine, like I said, the transmission, repainted the thing, and it didn't go back to original colors or anything like that, because I modified it a little bit, and I made it to my liking. That's okay. But a full blown out restoration, to me, is have the original engine or something equivalent to it that is a direct bolt-on, and it looks nice. Now, some people get carried away with their repowers and cut holes in grills and stuff like that. I don't like that. Have I cut holes in grills? Yes. I've done one that I think of. Let me think. Maybe two. That's right. I done two because the one grill I cut was already chopped up. So I just cut out an area. So that wasn't bad. And obviously, who cares because it was already broke. The other one was on a 73 ST 6, or no, not ST 16, 73 ST 10. It's the same thing as a custom 10XL, but instead of having the fiberglass nose cone and stuff like that, I stuck a older model custom aluminum grill on it. And at that time, I wasn't messing around with Tecumseh's. I threw a Briggs on it, and I ended up cutting out the area for the air filter. But here's the thing: I parked that thing right next to my dad's custom or compact 80. You couldn't tell a difference between the two where I cut, because I made it look original. And that's, if you're gonna redo something, that's the way to do it, is make it look original, not half-ass it or anything like that. But you know, take for example my wheel horse 701. It's never gonna be show quality. I'm gonna redo it. It's gonna look nice, but it's gonna have imperfections. And it's not gonna be 100% show quality, like I said. But it's my tractor, so you know it may show up to a couple shows and stuff like that later down the road. Do I really care what other people say? No, I don't. But when people sit there and just cut the crap out of hoods and stuff like that with no sense of what they're doing, that's what I have a problem with. So, anyway, I'm gonna pretty much cut this off for right now. I'll start doing more videos here shortly. Do some updates because I am a little bit behind. So, anyway, see you guys later.